This week on launch, Microsoft ships a no-code automation tool for your stinky old Excel spreadsheets. The client portal of your dreams.
I can't believe it's not bothering.
And get your pitchforks out as an open source, free Airtable alternative. So come on in, launch is ready. Who writes this? I was talking with another accounting firm owner the other day and said, imagine a world where your client could log into your website and change their street address. Well, how does this sound? No code client workflows. Build, visualize, and automate workflows and design a path to guide your clients through your processes. And take a look at this screenshot, multi-step web forms. It's a tool called Beau, I think, and it's a portal builder. The sort of thing you use to slap together an info gathering workflow and connect it up to your other systems. Looks super slick, no code required, and they've got some good examples for accounting firms out there already. It'll take payments, handle approvals, messaging, and let you white label the portal itself. It's a step beyond basic web forms, the simple one-pagers we're used to, and could be a solid option when basic web forms aren't enough. Oh,
but there is one more thing.
Unlimited access, white label, and all that only costs $189 a month. That's all you pay. Seems pretty all right. There's a note on the site that they're working on a Zapier integration as well. That feels like the cherry on top. Check this one out at beau.to. Always lots of debate surrounding whether Excel is a tool for the future. You could be the strongest Excel hustler out there, but yeah, can you really use it to automate an entire workflow? Dry the pants, there you go. You've built up that Excel muscle. Now it's just a matter of building a workflow around it. But that's easier said than done if you're working with cloud apps. But yeah, no, you're not the man you thought you were. So for building quick, free-form stuff, sure, Excel is great. But how about automated workflows that talk to your accounting apps? This has been a pain in the neck until now. Maybe. I don't actually know. I haven't used it. Microsoft's Office Scripts, a new scripting framework that's been in early access for a while, is now available to everyone on a business Office 365 subscription. Think VBA for Excel Online. It's got a recorder to capture those workflows, and if you want a scripting layer for digging into the nitty-gritty. Arguably the most exciting bit, these scripts can be triggered automatically with Microsoft Power Automate, their version of Zapier. What does all of it mean? It means you can actually build something in Excel without ever getting into Excel. So for example, let's say you got a workpaper template laid out in Excel. Can you grab the inputs for that workpaper from your cloud accounting system? Probably. Pull those figures in from another system, the accounting system, a form even, and you can call Office Scripts to create a copy of that Excel template. Build out the Excel file, check to ensure the output matches some other value, then save it to your file system automatically. Yes! I knew I built that Excel muscle for a reason. Learn more about this one over in the Microsoft Docs. We keep talking about Stripe. I'm not a developer. I know, but they keep making great stuff that non-developer muggles like us can use. They've always had great checkout pages. We've all encountered them in the wild, but to build this into your workflows, you had to make an API call. Well, gather around. This all just changed. With Stripe payment links, you're now a simple copy pasta away from sharing a link to a super fancy checkout page for any old thing you do. You can design an entire payment page, comes with all the great flexibility Stripe provides, customize your branding, add graphics, promo codes, quantities, free trials, all that on the back of Stripe, which integrates with literally everything. And your client's gonna think you're super fancy. Couple interesting use cases here, I think. Let's say you rolled out employee retention credit support or PPP forgiveness app support. You send out your client newsletter and include a link to a payment page if the client wants to pull you in for support. Set up per employee pricing, the client sets the employee headcount during checkout and let Stripe kick off the onboarding process. There are loads of ways to use this as we start productizing what we do a little more. To learn more about how to build your own payment links, head over to the Stripe page linked in the video description and tell me, are you using Stripe in your accounting firm yet? Drop a comment down below. I'll share a comment about the ways I'm using Stripe today. Are you using Twitter Spaces yet? I've built virtually my entire professional network on Twitter, but I still don't find myself using it for anything besides tweets and DMs. Well, Twitter Spaces for the first time is now available on all platforms, desktop, mobile, Nintendo Switch, and select Oral-B toothbrushes. What's that? desktop, and mobile. If you haven't used Spaces yet, it's a place for live audio conversations. Live audio conversations on Twitter, you say? Yes, sir, we've got tweet editing ready to go. Just need to hit the button. Oh, it doesn't feel like time yet. Okay, we got a better messaging UI ready to ship as well. You seen Clubhouse? Yeah. I mean, I guess it seems okay. It's kind of a less time-efficient version. I want you to make Clubhouse. A Twitter Clubhouse? Yeah, so people can talk to each other. On Twitter? Yeah, people will love it. It's an example of just the sort of feature you never knew you wanted and probably still don't. But if you're looking for new ways to connect with your Twitter squad, maybe it's for you. Some new features they've got in the works that beef this up a little bit. Ticketed sessions, so people have to pay to join. Scheduling and reminders, co-hosting, and some tools around general space discovery. So if you are looking to use Twitter for more than Drake memes, this one should now be available to all Twitter accounts on all platforms. Learn more about this one over at the Twitter handle, Twitter Spaces. Airtable is great, but if I had any complaints, it's the record limit. Things get a little dodgy beyond 50,000 records, and the fact it costs me my hard-earned cabbage. What would you say if I told you this launch overcame both limitations? It's called NocoDB because NocoDB wasn't available. It's an open source free tool that slaps an Airtable-like interface on top of any old SQL database. Now, what were those words that I just said? Well, before the age of no-code, cloud accounting systems, and electric toothbrushes, data was stored in traditional SQL databases. Virtually all the world's data still lives in them, and the upside is they can be massive. The downside is you need a master's degree in computer to understand them. What NocoDB is doing here is giving you the ability to host data in a traditional SQL database while still having an accessible application layer on top of it. Seemingly the best of both worlds, right? So in what situations may this make sense for you? Well, maybe you're pushing Airtable's record limits, getting up over 50,000 records. Or maybe you got a big old team that needs Airtable access, and that per user fee is not quite as easy to swallow as it once was. This one's gonna take a little bit of expertise to spin up, probably using something like Heroku, but maybe worth it if you're pushing the limits of Airtable. Check this one out over on GitHub. See the link in the video description below. If there's one thing we've all been missing during COVID, it's just hanging out with your mates, man. Talking shop with colleagues at the office, muttering about coworkers when they're just outside of earshot. Foundational aspects of knowledge work that are just harder in a remote setting. Well, a past top launch is back with a new story. Skyrocket your team. It's a virtual escape room for anywhere from 3 to 1,000 people. Something fun you can pull a virtual team into as a brief respite from just how terrible this profession is right now. Last year they launched a room where you and your team had to navigate a spaceship back to Earth. They're back with a new episode. It's called The Mystery of Isla Perdida, I think. A swashbuckling adventure for you and your mateys to find a legendary treasure and return it home safely before facing several years of IRS litigation over the taxability of your offshore riches. Joking aside, I love stuff like this, like every month or every quarter to take the steam out of the grind with my colleagues. Kick off your own adventure over at skyrocketyourteam.com. Here's your 6 fresh cuts for the week. If you're a fan of Launch FA, hit that like button. It's the only thing that keeps me going in life and is my primary source of happiness. Bottom right hand corner. Just hanging out there. Watch it. Funny nitty in your life. It's the only, this isn't the version of the future I was sold on. I was promised simplicity. The computers will do it all. Do I have news? You don't have to do that crap anymore.